Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. The bubble was bound to burst at some stage, was it not? 4 games on the spin, unbeaten. We're starting to get to the stage on the podcast, myself, Will Pugh, and James Jones, where we didn't really know how we were going to react if West Ham went unbeaten. 2 more matches in a row after that excellent lead in to the international break. But consider this. 2 people amongst thousands of West Ham fans, no doubt, who feel like we've crashed down to earth with a bit of a bump. 4-1 Premier League defeat at Aston Villa on Sunday. Brace for Douglas Luiz, Ollie Watkins, Leon Bailey getting in on the act as well, with Jared Bowen's deflected consolation. Literally just that. Not a great showing from David Moyes and the boys, although we did say, you know, Aston Villa flying high at the moment. They're 5th. The defeat and other results see us drop down to 9th in the table after 9 games. But 4 victories, 2 draws, 3 defeats. With some of the games we've had so far, I would say we're still just about trending above where we expected to be at this stage of the season. James Jones, delighted to have you back with me. Terrible defeat, quite honestly, at Aston Villa. Bit of a humping. Don't think we were expecting to get served up quite like that, but we didn't do a Brighton and lose 6-1. So not quite as embarrassing or as shambolic as it has been for some so-called decent teams this season. We've got Olympiakos away on Thursday before a Premier League game at home to Everton on Sunday afternoon. So exciting stuff to look forward to. A quick chance to move on, but a little bit bleak, losing 4-1 at Villa Park. Welcome back from the international break, West Ham.
Yeah, it was massively deserved as well. Like, there wasn't a single bit of that game where I've gone, oh, we're unlucky there. Like, deserved it. Like, I can't remember the last time we got battered and gone, yeah, we definitely deserved to get battered there. Villa were the better team on the day. They're flying. They're in great form, particularly at Villa Park. Was that 10 or 11 wins in a row? Villa Park's come out to a club record for them. Like, from within the first 15 minutes, you just knew what way it was going to go. Probably didn't see a 4-1 coming, but didn't see us getting anything out of the game straight. Like, just thought, nah, we're not on it today. We're not on the races. So fair play to Aston Villa. A number of really...
They're just good, aren't they?
They are good. They are very good. I mean, you see their results. See, it's the first time I actually probably watched them this season. And you see the results and go, cool, they're doing well. But then you actually watch them and go, no, they play some really good football as well. Like, he's got them playing well. So, like, fair play to them. They've beaten us fair and square. They've absolutely humbled us. And there are very few players that are going to come out with that with their heads held high. I think the only one that stands out is Jared Bowen, and that's not just because he scored. That's because I thought he played quite well, actually. I thought he defended well. He got back. He looked like he was trying. He worked hard. The others, it was just a really bad day at the office. And I feel inclined to, Caps 4-1 looks terrible. But feeling kind to go and just go, right, okay, we'll let that one go, because up until this point, we've been brilliant. We've only been beaten by City and Liverpool. You do get bad days at the office. What you want to see now is a reaction at Olympiakos and against Everton at the weekend. If you see that and you go, you write this one off as bad day at the office, whatever. But what we don't want to see is us slip into a little bit of bad form and this become a little bit of a thing.
No, I quite agree. I think an uncharacteristic. Here we go. We're only 4 minutes and 24 seconds into the recording, and I already can't get my words out. That's not even a clever phrase or a fun analogy that I'm trying, is it? It's just a fairly straightforward word.
It's just a word.
Third time lucky. An uncharacteristic. No, I haven't got it. Uncharacteristic. There we go. Yeah, an uncharacteristic performance from our defenders, really. Aguerd and Zuma, both pretty sloppy. Alvarez wasn't great either, to be quite honest with you. James Ward-Prowse, okay, but a little bit quiet. I think it's one of those, isn't it? Like, we have got to give credit to Aston Villa and say they were good, and they are good. Lucas Paqueta, not his finest game. Just a few iffy performances all over the pitch. But yeah, I think it's one of them where you sort of go, oh, were we bad enough or were they good enough to warrant conceding 4 goals? Probably not. But then you'd also go, our goals are deflected effort. We didn't really have much of a sniff other than that. We probably didn't deserve to score either. So a defeat by a 2 or 3 goal margin, as it was probably pretty much about par for the course based on the way both teams applied themselves.
Yeah, 100%. But I think, especially in the first half, you're only going 1-0 down. And we could have gone in level. Like, we had opportunities in the final third in the first half. If it wasn't for Michail Antonio just not looking like he cared, then we may have had a chance, like of at least actually having some efforts in goal. I don't think we had a proper effort on goal all in the first half.
How many times we said that sentence? If it wasn't for Michail Antonio, we might have had some efforts on goal.
Mate, I was thinking this yesterday when I was watching it, and I know we'll go into more detail later, but that bloke yesterday, like at least twice I can remember it, but it was probably more, where he found himself in a really good position, and he ended up pretty much just half-heartedly kicking it back to an Aston Villa defender. Like, there was no conviction in anything that he was doing. And it was like, mate, you're on the edge of the box. You've got 2 Villa players around you, and you've got Jarrod Bowen running into the box to just pass him the ball, and he just passes it to whoever it was, Ezri Konsa.
Yeah.
Just gives it to him. It wasn't if like, Konsa's had to go out his way to try and intercept it. He's done well to intercept it. He just basically, it was as if they were both playing the same team.
Yeah.
Like, mate, you're on the D.
The Claret Blue, didn't he?
Yeah, it's like, you're in the D here, mate. Like, either have a shot or lay it off to the easy pass to Jarrod Bowen who will finish. No.
We're the ones in the white shirts.
Yeah, I'll just give it to them. Doesn't matter. And then I think there's another one on the left. He's had an opportunity to cut it back. I think James Ward-Prowse is running in from deep. Just cut the ball back to him. Ward-Prowse might have the target, he might not, but it's a shot on goal. And he doesn't. He kicks into the side netting. So what are you doing? And it wasn't even like it was a shot. It was like a half-hearted pass stroke cross. So
yeah.
But then David Moyes keeps him on for 90 minutes. Takes him off for like the 93rd minute. So I don't understand.
Yeah, but the mate, it was funny. He was like, "Are you going to put Ings on?" So
well, no, put Kudos on. Like put someone who actually wants.
Well, he put him on, didn't he? On 65 minutes, I think, just past the hour mark.
But he kept Antonio on, so you still got that. You still got that one player in the team who clearly doesn't want to be there for whatever reason. He just didn't look like he wanted to be there. So you put Kudos on there. He'll run about. He wants to prove himself. He'll definitely know when to pick the right pass and when to have a shot. And instead, you just keep him on the pitch, and that was the thing that frustrated me, because had he done what any normal footballer would have done in those 2 situations in particular in the first half, we may have got in 2-1 up, we may have gone in 1-1, and the game's completely different. Then you got Villa on the ropes a little bit. They don't come out in the second half with their tails up. So yeah, that was one of my biggest gripes. Just that you had your one striker who's been your striker for about 300 years, clearly just not really being that bothered whether we win, lose or draw, or just kind of just turning up for the day. It's a day out in Birmingham for him, isn't it? So
yeah, really likes Villa Park's historical ground. Like having a jog around there. No, I quite agree. Although you think that was frustrating, Jonesy, try reading the interview with Michail Antonio on the club website this week. That will really frustrate you. No, he was just sort of saying he was just like, it's all of that sort of usual sort of stuff. And I kind of get it, right? You can't, if you're him, you can't buy into and start accepting what people say about you. You've got to have a sense of self-belief and a sense of self-confidence and that sort of stuff to keep rocking up in the Premier League every week. I get that, but it does just come across as, I don't know what the word is, it comes across as a bit, don't know, like head in the sand, denial, ignorant of reality, whatever you might call it. It's worth having a look through the interview on the website this week. It's just like, sort of, it's that sort of, bolshy sort of swagger, like, I'm the nuts. When in reality, the only reason he's played so many games in the last couple of seasons and been such a regular fixture is because of our terrible recruitment department when it comes to strikers. Not saying it's a terrible recruitment department. Look at elsewhere on the pitch. Excellent signings. I don't like to buy into the, the striker curse thing, but there is a curse against strikers at West Ham. That's basically the only supernatural or superstitious thing I believe in my whole life. I'm not one for not overly religious, not one for sort of, getting ready or putting my socks on a certain way before I play football or, anything like that, really. The only one thing I do believe in is that there is a curse on any player who is signed by West Ham as a striker. And, Schumacher and Haller were both a lot of money. And the interview was just like, managers have tried to bring other players in because I might not be the prettiest or whatever. Like, as in, I might not be the prettiest footballer, I think one of the quotes was. It's like, no, Michail, it's not, you're not the prettiest of footballer. Like, you can't trap or shoot. Right? I just take out the prettiest. You're just not really much of a footballer. That seems to be the problem. And it's all like, I know what I bring to the team. I know what I bring. There's a reason managers keep coming back to me. They try something different, but they always come back to me and I always end up in the team. And it's like, no. Like, if we had Ollie Watkins, he would be in the team every week and you wouldn't.
Yeah. So saying, "Oh no, what brings to the team?" Well, whatever he brings, he left it at home on Sunday because he had nothing. You're right. But if you had a player like Ollie Watkins, we were linked with Ollie Watkins before he signed for Villa. I think if you had Ollie Watkins,
and we got flipping Ben Rama from Brentford instead.
Yeah, but Ollie Watkins would be scoring the same amount of goals as he does for Villa for West Ham if he was in the West Ham team, or maybe he wouldn't because of that curse. The fact is, we're just not very good at buying strikers, and that's why Michail Antonio is always in the team, and he has a little stint outside the team, and we buy a new one, and then realises that
when we try and get him out the team, and
then it's either the striker's no good, he's either over the road, no good, doesn't fit the system because we just haven't done our own work in the recruitment side of things. Do our own work in every other position. Alvarez, brilliant signing, does a job. Ward-Prowse, great. Paqueta, great.
Superb.
Aguirre, superb.
Brilliant.
Emerson, Kudos eventually, if he's allowed to play football, great. And then you've got strikers, it just doesn't happen. And that's why he just seems to think that, they go back to him because they realise that actually he's the only good option we'll ever have. When actually,
he's the only option, full stop.
Yeah, and it's just like, well, go away. Please go away. He's been a good servant, but it's time to go. In the words of Arsenal Fan TV, he's got to go. He's got to go.
Like I've said time and time again, right? Trevor Brooking, one of the greatest footballers ever to play for our club, but I wouldn't have him in the first team now. No, his time has gone. Yeah. And Michail Antonio, his time has gone. His time is up. It's been up for ages. And like you say, amazing achievement. He was sort of rattling off his stats he's got for West Ham in this interview as well. He's closing in on beating Mark Noble in the Premier League assists chart, I think. And it's like, if you're clinging on to that,
I'm going to check that because I don't know how true that is. I've got that data.
No, but anyone good with Addy might provide more assists. Well, look on the interview website, the West Ham website, and the interview he gave. He was like, I've become the first person to score 4 goals for West Ham in a Premier League game. It's like, all right, mate, that was like against Norwich. And he's Premier League's all-time greatest scorer, and it's like, okay, but you had like 10 years to crack it. What did he beat? He beat Di Canio's record, and Di Canio played for half the seasons Antonio has. And I just sort of it's one of those really. Even as we're speaking now, I just feel a bit awkward because it's like I don't want to be giving him a load of grief when he has ultimately been a really good player at times for West Ham. But the reality is, like, his time. There's a reason managers have tried with Haller and Schumacher, and if either one of them had worked out, Antonio would have been at best a bench option for 2.5 seasons, pretty much, wouldn't he? And yeah, obviously Ingsy will go. Hopefully, he goes in January, but I think the money he's on, he's probably not in a hurry to go anywhere. No. But January or the end of the season, Danny Ings goes, and once again, the circus of we need a new striker starts again. But go on, have you checked the stats there? Is he right?
Yeah. So Premier League stats, he's miles off. He's still got 11 assists to do, and like if he's going to not pass the ball like he should have done at least on two occasions against Villa, then he's not going to get 11 more assists in the Premier League for West Ham. And overall,
he's probably going to be up front for us for another 7 or 8 more years, so he probably will.
Noble's on 42 assists, according to the data I've got, and Antonio's gone 31. Bowen's on 25. He's not far off catching Antonio. So, but then in all competitions, Antonio 42 in all competitions, Noble 59. So he's 17 off in all competitions. I don't know what he's talking about. Grow up.
No, I think he meant Prem. But
he's still 11 off in the Prem. It's not happening.
No,
it's not happening.
No, exactly. But look, for one thing worth noting, it's not Michail Antonio's fault that we lost that game against Villa on the weekend. Not. Definitely not. It is. We're not pinning the blame on him whatsoever. I think it is the defender's fault. I thought Zuma was poor. Aguerd not great. Alvarez a little bit off it, as we've mentioned already. But look, we're going to that in a little bit more detail in the detailed section. Okay, Jones, we've done quite a bit in the introduction there about the Aston Villa game. I sort of want to get into the details of the game a bit more, really. I think we have to give it its due. We've enjoyed the podcast the last couple of weeks after a couple of decent wins. A little bit more to get our teeth stuck into this week, I think, rather than just saying how good we are. I think I'm just going to do it chronologically, to be quite honest. And I'm glad I managed to get the word chronologically out because I feel that sort of like made amends for not being able to say uncharacteristically about 4 times in a row. Alphonse Areola, should he have saved Douglas Luiz's opening goal, which took the slightest of deflections off Naif Aguerd's heel? My answer to that is yes, he definitely should.
I think he should. Yes, it takes a little nick, but he's still got a good hand on that, and it's still ended up in the back of the net. So that's my doorbell.
I love this. This is my favourite part of the podcast. I think, Jonesy, I don't know if he does it on purpose, but it does seem like every time we record the podcast, which usually is Monday morning / Monday lunchtime, James's HelloFresh deliveries turn up for the week, or Hey Gusto, I think he switched to recently. None of those companies advertise with us, but I'm pretty sure he does it on purpose, just to let everyone know that he's wealthy enough to have his food delivered to him week in, week out. Just telling everyone, Jonesy, you deliberately, it seems, organise your HelloFresh or Hey Gusto or whatever it is to get delivered during the pod.
Let's clear this one up. I get given a delivery window every Monday, and I can't change that delivery window. You just get given a window. Secondly, that wasn't a food delivery. I don't know what it is, but it's another thing that Lucy's bought. I don't know what it is, but I don't know.
No, I must admit, Jonesy, I told quite a lot of people and showed quite a few people the picture of your pumpkins, about you buying 15 pumpkins at once and then leaving them all outside your front door. I showed a lot of people the picture. Again, sort of lots of people other than the dads that I showed, pretty baffled by the fact that you can spend and buy 15 pumpkins at once.
Yeah, I know that the dads got it though. They understand.
Yeah, they all knew. Yeah, they just had that resigned look on their faces. The shoulders dropped, and they were like,
I felt a bit sorry for me. Yeah. Anyway.
Sorry, Areola, should he have saved Luiz's goal? I say yes.
Yeah, I think he should. He's still got a good hand on it, despite the slight deflection it took. This deflection only takes it a little bit away from his body, but he still gets a decent contact on it, and he's pushed it into the side net. into the inside of the goal.
Yeah, it was hardly right in the bottom corner, was it?
No, and it's not like it took him away and it clipped his fingertips and went in. Because then you go, okay, well, that's the deflection's fault. But the fact is, he's got a good hand on that and he still let it go in. Really weak hand. So I think he should do better on that. Not good enough for me.
It barely changed course, the ball, did it? It was just like,
not
that's where
not
he was
enough.
diving anyway.
Not enough for him to turn around and point as if, like, well, that was a deflection. That's why I didn't save that, which is what he did. It's like, no, Alphonse, mate, you still should have kept that out. That was more than, like, you should have done that. So, yeah, not good enough, really.
He has been good this season, hasn't he? So I think you can.
He has. It set the tone, though, didn't it? It set the tone for the rest of the game, I think.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, they were on top. Look, Aston Villa had a lot of the ball. It wasn't like that was the first time they threatened and the goalkeepers let us down. You know, we were getting. He was sort of. The fact is that they scored 4 goals because they were continually allowed to get into good positions by our outfield players. So obviously he's the last line of defence there, but I did think he should have done a lot better with that one. Then they get a penalty. Alvarez. It was with a bit of a sort of lazy, sloppy foul on Ezri Konsa, I think it was, centre-back marauding into the box. But it did all stem from a sort of lazy pass, but also one of those unnecessary show-off passes from Lucas Paqueta, one of them, like, look how good I am at football passes. And look, a lot of the time he is loads better than everyone else on the pitch at football. You know, his control of the ball, it's like, it's attached to his foot by Velcro a lot of the time. He can pull the ball out of the air, control it. He's strong as an ox, and holds people off while he's controlling it and just looks like he's doing everything in first gear. I think he likes that. I think he likes being able to do that and being like, look, this is so easy for me. I'm so good. And it's fine. When it comes off, you are like, yeah, you're mustard, mate. But then when you put your team in trouble and make your Mexican mate just put in a bit of a clumsy challenge, probably unnecessary, to be fair. I do feel like, you know, it's like, well, that bloke's a centre-back, mate. Like, make him do something. Like, there's no need to be lunging in on Ezri Konsa there. Yeah, so just sloppy play from both. And then Alphonse Areola, penalty saving expert, like, couldn't leap out the way quick enough, and Luis just spanks it down the middle.
Yeah, both to blame in a way, but I think more inclined to point the finger at Paqueta there because, like, he's done his classic hold the ball up, kind of shield the ball from the defender, which he does very well. To be fair, he's very good at. Look how good and strong I am. Everyone. Yeah, he's very good at protecting the ball and kind of holding players off him. But in that situation, maybe there wasn't. When I was watching it back. When I was watching it live, the camera was more zoomed on him, so you couldn't see whether any players were moving for him to give him options. You couldn't really see that the way the camera angle was. But then the pass back's not good enough. It's gone away from Alvarez, and I don't know whether in the heat of the moment Alvarez has panicked, gone in, or it was just sloppy play from him. I don't know, but he should have probably. You're right, as it's a centre back. It's not like it was Moussa Diaby on the ball or Ollie Watkins on the ball. Who's like a genuine goal threat. It's Ezri Konsa. So just holding him up. Yeah, like, make him do something. Make him do something. Make him put a cross in. Okay, you block it. You give away a corner. Fine. Yeah. Just don't give away a penalty. And it was a clear penalty. Why they went to VAR, I don't know, because it was just the most obvious penalty you'll ever see. And I think even the players knew as well. So, but probably both at fault. But I think it could have been avoided had Paqueta not played the pass that he did, because it was a sloppy pass back. And he's almost the pass has forced Alvarez into making a silly decision. Yeah, exactly. Whereas I don't think Alvarez makes that decision if that's a through ball from a Villa player into Konsa. I think because he's expecting the ball to go there if it's a through ball. So therefore he's a little bit more composed in that situation, whereas he's receiving a pass from a teammate in a high pressure situation, and that pass is terrible. He's forced into making a split second decision. It's the wrong decision. but he's unnecessarily been put in that position.
Yeah.
So I think it's Paqueta's fault.
Yeah. All right, fair enough. 65-35, Paqueta, we going?
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
And we'll reserve like only 5% for Areola because he literally, I think, couldn't leap out of the way quick enough. Douglas Luiz was like, all right, I'll go down the middle then, shall I?
Yeah.
No, I just laugh every time Areola faces a pen now because of your vendetta against him pre-season. Jared Bowen then out of nowhere scores a goal with a deflection that actually did put the goalkeeper off. That Emi Martinez can quite rightly go, no, I didn't save that because of the deflection. Unlike our big Alphonse with Douglas Luiz's opener, it sort of came from nowhere, really. And if I'm quite honest, I was like, yes, get in. But it was one of those where I was like, that's a consolation goal if ever I've seen one. It's like, I'm not going to let myself get excited about this because I was like, that is a consolation. It was only afterwards when we actually did our only good spell, really, and we looked like we had half a chance of getting back in the game, maybe nicking an equaliser. Obviously left ourselves exposed, and that's sort of what let Villa put the game beyond us completely. But yeah, as soon as when Bowen's goal went in, I was like, bit of a fluke. Obviously he has to get himself in that position, and it's great from him again, but big deflection. If that goes in against you, you're just like, oh, what, so jammy.
Yeah, it was a good goal. I love deflections like that where it spins the ball away. Kind of it, like the spin adds the little curl to it. But it came right at the beginning of a really good spell. And you're right. When it first went in, I kind of jumped up and went yes, and then straight away just thought, we are 2-0 down. We were 2-0 down. So, and then you had that 20-minute spell after where, again, like had we been even a little bit better at being clinical in the final third, then we may have had a chance. But having a good spell of possession is very different to having a good spell of possession where you're actually dangerous against the opposition and threatening to score a goal. I don't think we were that threatening. I think we were in good positions, but we didn't really threaten Villa.
Yeah.
We
just had a bit of the ball for the first time, didn't we?
Yeah, we just passed the ball about without giving it away for a while,
which made us look like Brazil.
Yeah,
we're really good. Look how
we're really good. Yeah, we're not going to try and score, but look, we can pass the ball.
We're not letting Villa have the ball for 2 minutes. Look how good.
Yeah, it's almost like Villa went, "Oh, you can have it for a little bit. Just give us a bit of a rest."
We're worn out.
You have it for 20 minutes. We'll take it back in a bit, but.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You can score, let you attack, and then we'll just score another 2 anyway, lads. Don't worry.
Yeah. Lol. So it was a lucky goal. I think Bowen deserved the goal given his performance. I think it was, like I said earlier on, I thought he was probably the best of a bad bunch on the day. Got his goal. I think I saw a stat just before we came on actually that he's now only the third player in Premier League history to score in his team's first 5 away fixtures of a season.
Yeah.
The other 2 are Mo Salah and Thierry Henry. So he's got himself into a nifty little club there.
Pretty good company.
But I looked at the replies on that tweet and it was just, and everyone was like, yeah, but it's pointless because they still got battered 4-1. I was like, yeah, I get that. Yeah, because
not a bad point to be fair. Yeah,
the other 2, Salah and Henry, they've probably done it while their team's sitting top of the league and just battered someone 6-0. Instead he's done it. Yeah, Bowen's done it after getting battered by Villa. So, but it's a decent stat for him. He's been brilliant all season. Can't fault him. But yeah, it was all downhill from there. As soon as Villa decided to take the ball back, it was all downhill.
That's enough now, lads. We'll play again. Yeah, I mean, look, Ollie Watkins getting lots of plaudits this season. Got in the England squad again. Him and Bowen were sort of the stories of the last squad, weren't they? I know he did score for England, but he didn't exactly. Neither did Bowen, to be fair. Didn't exactly set the world on fire against Australia in that first England game. But it's weird actually. He just looks. I don't know if he's been working particularly hard. He just looks a bit faster and a bit sharper. And I mean, the goal he scored, fair play, like proper impressive. Again, it did annoy me because it felt like he just had Zuma on toast, and I just I don't know, Zuma sort of doing his best impression of like Andy Melville or whatever in his heyday. And you sort of looked at Watkins, and I don't know, he sort of obviously does a step over and then smashes it in the top left corner with his left foot at Areola's near post. That annoyed me again. I sort of felt he should have done better with that. I know he hit it hard, which he did, but yeah, there's lots of space. Zuma sees where he's coming, like sees him coming for quite a long time. He stands him up, but Zuma's quite a way off him still. He does what seemed to me like a really like clunky, like heavy-footed step over. And rather than Zuma being like, I see what you're doing here and being on him, he's just like, oh, no, I'm just going to stay 5 yards away from you, mate, and then let you lash it into the net unchallenged. And again, it just seemed to me, it's just like, oh, don't worry then, Zuma. Oh, don't worry, either you, Alphonse. Like, Zuma's telegraphed to you where he's going to send him. He does that, and you take a step away from your near post towards the centre of the goal, as opposed to standing there. Look, he might not have got his hand up quick enough if he'd been close to his near post. Fair enough. But I don't know, he just left him a massive gap, and he's just nowhere near it. Yeah, and I was just like, oh, both of you, don't worry then. We're losing 2-1. We'll just lose 3-1, shall we? Like, nice one, lads. Yeah, cheers.
I get your point on Zuma. I think he should have got closer to him. Like, it's just Premier League.
He was slouchy all game, weren't he, to be fair?
Yeah, like there was the situation in the first half where Ollie Watkins missed that sitter. We dragged it wide from about 8 yards out, and he, like, as soon as it happened, I was like, we scored that. That's a goal. Couldn't believe it. He put it wide. And there was a situation in the build-up to there where both Zuma and Aguerd actually just miles, like almost like fell asleep, just like handed the ball on the plate to Watkins. But Zuma, for the goal, Zuma should have got closer to him. Should have been at least 2 yards closer to him. Just put him under a little bit more pressure. Like make him like think again as to whether he wants to have a shot or not. Instead, you just leave it. I don't see Areola being at fault. I think if he hits that low into the net at the near post, then you could probably look at Areola and go, yeah, should have got closer to that. But with the power and hitting it into the roof of the net, I don't see how Areola could have got anywhere near that. I don't think.
No, fair enough. I just sort of think if he's over, it maybe sort of forces him or invites him to hit it low across the goal, which is obviously more difficult than just shutting his eyes and lashing it in, which he did on his weaker foot as well. I don't know. It just seemed to me like they both made it quite easy for him, both the defending and then the goalkeeping as well. But maybe I just
think a lot of credit has to go to Watkins. Like, I think it was a brilliant finish. I thought it was a really good finish. I mean, a lot of strikers
hit it as hard as they can.
A lot of strikers go across goal there. Maybe that's what Areola was anticipating, him going across goal, because he would have hit the target even if he went across goal because Zuma was a mile away from him. So maybe that's what Areola was thinking. Like, most strikers are going to go across goal, but Watkins has hit it near post into the roof of the net with a lot of power. I think it's a good finish. Like, got to give him a lot of credit for it.
Fine. All right. You're a little bit more positive than me this week. And then the last one, I mean, in my notes beforehand, most of you will be stunned to hear that I've actually made some notes. I do sometimes make some notes before these podcasts. The only reason I had to this week is because there were so many goals from the opposition I had to remember. The last one, Leon Bailey, is who wraps it up and makes it a bit of a humping. And all I've written is Leon Bailey, Aguerd on toast. I had Zuma on toast for the goal before, Aguerd on toast for this one. Same sort of thing. It just seems like all you need to do to get the better of our defenders is pull off a reasonably basic step over, and then you've scored.
Yeah. I mean, I think by then the players have given up, haven't they?
I know. Yeah,
just Aguerd was half asleep. And yeah, Bailey hasn't had to really do much to completely send him for a hot dog, and he's finished it well. But yeah, What annoys me about that goal is that Yuri Tillemans has been slagged off a lot by the Villa fan base this year. He's not lived up to expectation, can't get in the team. A lot of people going, you know, he want to go to the Champions League, playing the Champions League, and he's gone to Villa instead, and it's not really worked out. He's not playing well enough. And then obviously it's against us that he gets his first assist for Villa. And it's like he's been...
Leon Bailey can't usually get a sniff either, can he?
Well, yeah, but he scores some goals throughout the season, and when he comes off the bench, he makes an impact. But I've seen a lot of Villa fans going, Tillemans, what a waste of time. I know he was a freebie, but what a waste of time. And obviously,
150 grand a week, though, yeah.
Yeah, obviously he comes off the bench. He comes off the bench against us and gets his first assist. And I'm pretty sure, and I need to look at it again. I don't know whether you've got it up like where you are, but I'm pretty sure if you look at the replay, just as Tillemans passed that ball, he's got a smirk on his face as he sees the pass and plays it. Like genuinely, I saw it yesterday. I was so annoyed about it that I didn't annoyed about the whole situation that I didn't go back and just double check it. But it's been playing on my mind ever since, and I can't be bothered to put myself through it. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, he saw the pass, smiled, and then played the ball into Bailey. And if that's the case, then it's just embarrassing. You've got a player that's struggling to get into the Villa team. Villa have been brilliant, struggling to get into the Villa team. Who's smiling as he assists a goal against West Ham, but it's just not good enough. Like, it's not really bad.
Well, listen, look, 4-1 defeat is never great, of course, but we're still not on a negative goal difference. We're still on 0, scored 16, conceded 16 for the season in 9 games, 14 points on the board so far, still 2 points above Chelsea, only 1 behind Manchester United, 2 behind Brighton, 2 behind Newcastle. Yeah, look, I think if we get a point in that game, we're 8th instead of 9th, and we would have considered that a good point. It doesn't leave us a million miles off. Obviously, the fact that it was a 4-1 defeat isn't ideal, but we've got Everton next in the Premier League, we've got Everton next. That gives us a good chance to bounce back, but we have got Olympiakos away before that. Like I say, I think it's not a great result, but I don't want to, sort of call disaster too early. I still think we're above that trend line for the season. If you swap that, defeat at Villa with the victory over Chelsea, for example, a game we were probably expected to lose and then took a win there, I still think you'd have been well happy with this amount of points after this amount of games, after 9 games, given the teams that we've played so far. So I think we've given ourselves a real good foundation for some, perhaps on paper, at least, more winnable games coming up, certainly in the Premier League. As I mentioned, Olympiakos away, of course, in the Europa League on Thursday, and then our next league games are Everton at home, Brentford away, Nottingham Forest at home, Burnley away, Crystal Palace at home. That brings us up to the 3rd of December. And to be quite honest, the way those teams are playing, all of those teams are bottom half sides at the moment. And there's no reason why we couldn't go unbeaten against all them. So not too bleak on that side of things. Yeah, onwards and upwards. Try and stay positive where we can. Great opportunity, as James mentioned, to bounce back away at Olympiakos on Thursday and give our chances of progressing to the knockout stage of the Europa League an enormous boost indeed. Well, there you go. That's enough of that. Well, we'll put that 4-1 defeat to the annals of history, the back of our minds, and not talk about it again. Just want Michail Antonio to know we're not blaming you completely. But yeah, if you did want to engineer a move away sooner rather than later, make sure Danny Ings has gone first. That's all I would say on that one.